Good morning, everyone. Or hello, everyone, as I normally start these. The new raid has been cleared. There is a final cutscene. And of course, I really want to do a reaction to this. I am super curious to find out what it's all about. One of my major things that I'm hoping for, like a lot of people are wondering, will Sylvanas die? Will she survive? I expect that she will survive. But more importantly, I really want to know why someone like Sylvanas would ally to the jailer, and I'm hoping that this cutscene is going to reveal it. Yeah, let's find out what it's all about, shall we? Upgrades! Ooh. Oh, they're all...
The way is open, Zobor! We already have what we need!
Too long I endured the Maker's flawed design. I will forge a new reality where all shall serve.
Really? Really?
I will never serve.
Still chained by mortality. You did help restore something stolen from me. Allow me to repay you.
Oh, there's Naphanos, yeah? Oh. Her soul.
To their mercy. Come. Be the first to witness reality's end.
Cannot let him reach me.
Sylvanas, what did you expect to happen? Alrighty, so this is me a little bit later. I've had more coffee, I've had some delicious discussions on Discord, talked about what happened in the cutscene, and I've been able to gather more of my thoughts. So what we see happening here is that the jailer, after he gathered the other sigils of the Eternal Ones, he got his hands on the final key, one that fits him nicely. Perfectly even, you might say, in that hole where his heart should be. He says to Sylvanas, "You did help restore something stolen from me." So, what many suspected way back when, what was inside of the Arbiter, actually belonged inside of the jailer. His... Shut up, I said what I said. His transformation is not a fusion with the Arbiter, but it's still a pretty cool transmog. That does make you wonder, well, where exactly did the Arbiter come from? Was she always there, sorting out souls, and they simply hid away Zoval's sigil within her? Or was she created with the sigil? Was perhaps Zoval the one that judged souls before the Arbiter took his job? Was there always a Maw, or did they design it to contain Zoval, or what exactly is the history there? They're still so very much unknown, but what we do know is that the jailer is successful. He has all the keys that he needs. A massive gateway is created, everybody instantly dominated, and his puppet Anduin, he is asked to join him on a little trip, leaving the compass behind. Now we're going to follow the guidance of the Primus and reforge the Covenant sigils to go after the jailer, wherever he might have gone. It's easy enough to make 4 of the 5 keys. We've got Bastion, Meldraxxus, Ardenweald, and Revendreth. We've already been helping them out. We can reforge their purpose, their sigils. But say that 5 are required, like the jailer has. Then we would need someone to stand in for his key. Someone with intimate knowledge of his plans, of his domain, and of his power.
Cannot let him reach me.
Should that be a thing, then the Banshee Queen might very well be perfect for the job. This is the part of the story where, well, this is also the part where I started rambling on for 30 minutes in my initial reaction video. I'm not down with the story that they set up for Sylvanas, and in my opinion, they should have never made her the war chief. They should have never made her an ally to the jailer. But then again, we can't go back in time. This is the story that they've given us. When she made a bargain with the Valkyr after throwing herself on the top of Icecrown, she got in touch with the jailer and she'd been working with him ever since. It didn't play a massive part in the storyline. You could argue that the first signs started to show around the Legion time period, but even then, you could imagine the jailer not existing. It's not until Battle for Azeroth where her allegiance to him it really kicks off, with sending as many souls to the Maw as she could. There was her thought process behind the faction war. She was going to empower the jailer, empower herself by extension for some sort of ultimate goal. She thought that the jailer was going to set them all free. Free from some sort of unjust system, potentially connected to the first ones. But again, not all the details are clear. There is still a questline attached to Sanctum of Domination. I'm going into the raid in about an hour as I'm recording this, so if more juicy information comes out of that questline, I'll be sure to add it. But right now, their motivations are not entirely clear. Whatever goal they got, with that goal in mind, she did what she did. She burned down Teldrassil, she dominated Derek Proudmoore, she one-shotted Sourfang, she converted Anduin. The list goes on. All that with the hope and the idea that the jailer, he was going to get her what she wanted. Whatever it is that she might have wanted.
From our first breath to our last, every decision is made for us. Then, the afterlife decides what eternity we must endure. We can't even choose who we couldn't control anything. But through the jailer, control of our fate will at last be possible.
Look around you! At what and who you've joined.
And Anduin is completely right here. Why is it now, in this moment, that the surprise Pikachu face happens? What could the jailer possibly have told her to make her ignore all the things that happened along the way? His sanctum is called Domination. He uses domination magic. He has runes on him that correlate with Frostmourne. He works together with Kel'Thuzad. What magical reasoning or explanation could he have possibly given that made the Banshee Queen think, oh yeah, this jailer guy, he knows what's up. I'm going to serve him now. And that's another thing. Her turning point, it comes when he says that all will serve me. And she's like, I won't serve ever again. Sure enough, she thought that freedom was going to be waiting for them at the end of the Golden Brick Road, but still, she's been serving him all this time. She has even forced others to serve the jailer, just like Arthas had done to her, but when it comes to this moment, where the jailer proclaims, like, yeah, I'm not gonna make whatever you thought I was gonna make, I'm gonna make my reality, all will bow down and serve to me. Now it's a problem, and now she realizes what the jailer's about. Now is the time that she turns around and she tries to stop him, just as he gotten the final keys and he goes out of there. I mean, all the things that she's done so far, and this is the moment where she turns around. For me, even after Battle for Azeroth and all the things she did there, for me, a better turning point, it would have been the moment with Anduin. Deciding that becoming an Arthas was a step too far. Incorporate maybe recognizing her younger brother in Anduin in some sort of way, and then she could work from the shadows against the jailer. Instead, we got this, and the jailer's character of wanting to see us suffer, all will serve and submit to him. It has him keep us alive and give Sylvanas a little gift. This crystal is very similar to the one that they used to craft Kingsmorn, the Morn blade that Anduin is swinging around. A piece of Sylvanas' soul that's been missing, it's returned to her. So since her soul comes from this crystal, the idea that perhaps Arv's soul is infused in the Mornblade, it definitely gets more strength behind it. Her soul not being whole, it's somewhat of a new idea, and yet we always knew that when Arthas brought her back as a Banshee, Sylvanas was not the Ranger General that she had been in life. They've now added that when someone gets struck down in rage by a Mornblade, a piece of their soul can splinter. We've seen this happen with Uther. That's what happens with other souls taken down by Arthas. And that's what happened with Sylvanas. This is also incorporated in the latest book, the Folk and Fairy Tales of Azeroth, as well as her mythic mount description. Sylvanas lost a part of herself the day Arthas took her life, and the darkness within her grew to fill the void. Now that's been restored, indicated with those blue eyes of hers, high elven eyes, but I do believe that she is still undead. Not sure though, but I imagine that she is still the Banshee Queen, right? Only now with a full soul. So the small snippets of her emotional side, the Ranger General side as Anduin described it.
Join our cause, or be made to serve.
What kind of choice is that? Why even give me? It's the choice you never had. Despite all your grand designs, there's still some shred of your mortality haunting you. As if the Banshee Queen hasn't entirely eclipsed the Ranger General.
Don't.
It has popped up a couple of times. For example, she's had the opportunity to murder her sisters, but she decided not to do so. The flame between her and the Thanos, it still burns. Speaking honest with Anduin when he asked her if she willingly and knowingly betrayed his father. I'd imagine that we'll see more of that side pop up, but then where are you going to take this? So I want to clear Sanctum of Domination and turn in the last quest to get more context to finish up this impression, this reaction video. I was really hoping that more information would pop up about the motivations, but not really. Sylvanas is apparently in custody. There is still a quest campaign which is coming up. At higher renown, we'll get a little bit of a cutscene, but for now, this is the information that we have. Now, I could probably rant on for about 30 minutes and deep dive into what they're doing with the storyline, but I don't want to take up too much time and I want to keep it focused on this cutscene. Honestly, I just wonder what their plan was with Sylvanas and if perhaps it changed over time. On the one hand, they set her up to make Garrosh look like an amateur. Do things that put her on the "you're the bad guy" list. Let's be fair, we've taken out enemies in the story for much less than what she's done. On the other hand, they're trying to sell this storyline like she's been doing it for the greater good. The jailer has been able to convince her that this was the way to go, and her soul isn't whole, so darkness inside is growing. I can only speak in opinions here, and for me, what made the character of Sylvanas such a badass and fun one to follow is that despite going through some horrible she was able to claw her way to glory. She offered a home to the Forsaken when none other would. She became one of the most powerful factions amongst the Horde. She did whatever it took to get the job done, and not taking shit from anyone along the way. Ultimately, she got what she wanted, vengeance upon Arthas. Why now let her apparently be manipulated again? Although my initial reaction still holds, what did you expect to happen? Why would you dive into so many years of story and character development and then add this puppeteer? Add the shattered soul bit that could potentially be used as an excuse. You can hate or love what they did with Garrosh Hellscream. The one thing that they did right, in my opinion, it was making sure that he was the one calling the shots. Unapologetic, it was Garrosh until the bitter end, and they carried on with it. The Garrosh cutscene, it just sparked a lot of joy. It was exactly what I hoped for him, but it doesn't seem like they're going that route with Sylvanas. That is speculative though. We don't know what the story is going to bring next. Again, not knowing motivations, not knowing the details and the conversations that's been had. It's really hard to form an opinion about something. We've got the book that's dedicated to Sylvanas, that is set up for February, so potentially connected to the next patch. And then there's also the Grimoire, which is next week. This should uncover more of the mysteries behind the first ones. But in-game, for this cinematic, I'm not a fan of this being her turning point. I feel like it dumbs down Sylvanas quite a bit. Like, oh, you are actually not the good guy. Yeah, I'm not a fan of still not knowing what the hell it is that they want to accomplish. And I'm not a fan of so much focus on Sylvanas, because there are other stories to tell. Although that might also be due to the delays in development. I'm not sure if this was the original plan, or if due to all the things that happened last year, that they just don't have the time to tell all the stories they wanted. I don't know, I don't have inside information how Blizzard is working, but on a more positive note, I am still invested and curious to find out what the Jailer's really after. I want to know what role the Eternal Ones played and this cosmic war behind the scenes. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Anduin, what that gem is that they placed in his sword, the idea behind leaving the compass. I'm curious to see what will happen with Sylvanas now that her soul has been restored. I know that quite a few people just wanted her dead. I kind of fear that we're going to be partying with her for quite a bit longer. So for me, it's a bit of a mixed bag, I suppose. As I mentioned earlier, I just wish that they took a whole different approach, a whole different path with the storyline in general when it comes to Sylvanas and the Jailer. Like, honestly, what an ally she could have been in fighting against him from the start. But it is what it is. If I had to make a prediction right now, which is really hard to say, the gut feeling has her play a critical role in stopping the Jailer from getting what he wants. Help bring back Anduin to our side, likely with a self-sacrifice. Break the Shadowlands as we see it right now. She then holds hands with Nephanos. They jump into a portal somewhere to enjoy a blissful afterlife. That's a gut feeling, but then again, they could also bring her back to life, or they could put her on trial, or they could do something entirely different. By all means, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm gonna finish up working on this reaction, then it's working on the story of the Sanctum of Domination. We got the new campaign chapter which is coming up, there is the new dungeon that's available, which also includes some of the first one's lore, but that's gonna be for the future. For now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time, see ya!